With the DataSet Details page, it's easy to get to know data. The DataSet Details page can be easily accessed from the DataSets tab of the Data Center. From here, search for and select a dataset to open its DataSet details. Depending on your permissions and the type of dataset, your view may differ from what's shown. By default, the DataSet Details view will open with the Overview tab. From here, one can see the dataset name, its tags, the type of dataset it is, how many columns and rows it has, when it was last run, and who owns the dataset. Below that, we can see the dataset's direct impact by looking at what and how many things are powered by this dataset. View how many cards are powered by this dataset, and the option to create one from it. Get a count of how many people have access to the dataset and share it. See how many data flows are made from the dataset and make one from it. And also view how many alerts have been created from the dataset and make a new one. Next, the Data tab is made up of 3 subtabs: Table, Schema, and Stats. In all of the subtabs, we can filter columns by using the Search Columns field. Here we can go full screen to have a better look at our data. There are also options on how to display, handle nulls, or how precise our decimals should be within our data. In Table subtab, we can see all the columns in the dataset. Here we can see the type of data in each column and quickly reorder our rows by clicking the Sort button on any column. We can also filter down our data here. Within the Schema subtab, we can reorder columns by clicking and dragging or selecting a group and sending them to the top or bottom of the list. Here we can see the column types again, give each column a description, or add tags to each column. In the Stats subtab, we can see Domo-generated statistics from the columns in the dataset. In the Cards tab, we can quickly see and access any card that has been made with this dataset, or add a card by making one from the dataset. In the Settings tab, we have access to the options used to set up this dataset, whether it was a file upload or a connector. In the Data Lineage tab, we can see if the data is used in any data flows, or if it's a product of a data flow, what datasets were used to yield this dataset. In the History tab, we can see a listing of all the times this dataset has been updated. Personalized Data Permissions, PDP, allows us to create a customized experience for each Domo user through the definition of entitlement policies. In the Alerts tab, we can see all the alerts connected to the dataset, or create new ones. In the AutoML tab, data science models are prepared, tested, and fully deployed into production. Domo automatically generates the test machine learning models until it finds the best fit for any business outcome. Regardless of what tab we have open, to the upper right there are a number of tools and options. By clicking the ellipses, we can edit the dataset name and description. Next, if the dataset is built off of a connector, we can manually run the dataset. After our dataset options, we have some management tools, such as tags, notifications, request certification, and chart color rules. Finally, we have our tools to share, export, or delete the dataset. To the left of the ellipses, we have the Open With dropdown. Here we can create a card from the dataset using Analyzer, Views Explorer, or create a new data flow through Magic ETL or using SQL. Speaking of data flows, if this dataset is made using a DataFlow or Webform, there will also be a button to edit it, reflecting the method used to create the dataset. Fully utilize your data through the DataSet Details page.